because of the mismanagement of the economy by the PNC, because of the bullyism, because of the intimidation.
At this point, we're not afraid. We feel righteous. We are righteous people. We have a righteous cause. And we are also not alone. We are not alone.
Any president has a right to enforce the laws of the country, uphold the rule of law. But I have to constantly remind you, the Guyanese people, because if nobody else can do it, you're going to hear it right here on the Diaspora Connected. Thousands of you are living in the United States and other parts of the world because of the mismanagement of the economy by the PNC, because of the bullyism, because of the intimidation.
At this point, we're not afraid. We feel righteous. We are righteous people. We have a righteous cause. And we are also not alone. We are not alone.
Any president has a right to enforce the laws of the country, uphold the rule of law. But I have to constantly remind you, the Guyanese people, because if nobody else can do it, you're going to hear it right here on the Diaspora Connected. Thousands of you are living in the United States and other parts of the world because of the mismanagement of the economy by the PNC, because of the bullyism, because of the intimidation.
At this point, we're not afraid. We feel righteous. We are righteous people. We have a righteous cause. And we are also not alone. We are not alone.
Any president has a right to enforce the laws of the country, uphold the rule of law. But I have to constantly remind you, the Guyanese people, because if nobody else can do it, you're going to hear it right here on the Diaspora Connected. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So first of all, let me apologize to you because, of course, you know, we had to pause there for that breaking news coming to you from the Guyanese Critic, who will bring you breaking news from time to time. And let me just let you know that anytime that there's breaking news happening in Guyana, we will pause here so that the Guyanese Critic can bring you live information on what's happening on the ground. I want to encourage you once again to continue to share our video as we continue here with the Diaspora Connected. And of course, we are live on Sky TV New York. We are also live on TBN, the Guyanese Critic Facebook page. We're on the Guyanese Critic TBN's YouTube channel. We're also we're live there, and I was told that a television station will be carrying our program. I'm just waiting for confirmation on that before I actually announce that. Okay, so keep sharing the video, guys. Please share it with your friends and your family and your loved ones. Send it in the groups, and so that we can have your participation here. My telephone number is on the air, on the screen. Sorry. My telephone number is on the screen, and if you want to call me about any of the issues that we discuss here, or anything that is current affairs or political in nature, and you want to talk about those things, I would be happy to entertain you via the telephone, right? And if you're in Guyana, you can add, I think you have to put a +1 and then 971, and you can add that number on WhatsApp, and you can send me messages also. And of course, you can call me on WhatsApp, and I'll take your calls once you want to talk about anything that we discuss here on the on the Diaspora Connected. Once again, I want to say thank you very much to every single one of you, and of course the TVN and Sky TV as we continue here. And I will be reading some of your comments as you post them also. So like I said, in our header, and we were saying before, these are some serious times in our country, in our beloved country, Guyana. And it's about time that we, the Guyanese people, get serious. And I want to also say something to you guys, all right? We cannot totally depend on our leaders, the leaders of our political party, to always do the heavy lifting. We've got to help out in any way that we can. Listen, in a few days, a matter of days, less than a week, every single Guyanese registered to vote will be making the most important decision that you would have ever made for your future and the future of your country. According to the Vice President Parjaglia de Lenore at the meeting at Stortville on the west side, according to him, there are two Kangalangs running against Mohamed Irfan Ali, president of Guyana, who is tested. You would recall that some had an issue when Irfan Ali was elected as the presidential candidate of the PPP in 2020. But none of you can actually deny the fact that the man has worked to gain your support. He has worked from being Mohamed Irfan Ali, the former Minister of Housing, to becoming a statesman worthy of of accreditation. An accredited statesman in CARICOM, one of the most formative and respected leader in CARICOM, a man who has been leading the Caribbean CARICOM's push to make this region, to make the Caribbean region food secure, right? A man who has stood up with world leaders, taking your country, Guyana. The only thing we were known for a long time in the world, it was for the Jim Jones story, when the PNC allowed Jim Jones to come here and to set up his cult and did whatever he had to do in the 70s. That's the only thing we were known for on the international scene until the People's Progressive Party came into power. And then people start hearing about Guyana. Tourists start flocking our country. Immigrants are now flocking our country. They're flocking to come here because they are finding opportunities here so that they can live comfortable, develop their lives, find employment, even though there's a language barrier, send money home for their families, and they are doing it very comfortable right here in this same Guyana. So, you think that happened by magic? You think that happened by some wince and fantasy? It happened because you have skilled leadership at the helm. It happened because you have a man who cares for his people and who wants to see this country develop. Irfan Ali. That is why this country now is the envy of the world. That is why people are flocking this country as they are right now. That is why we have so much tourists coming to this country, because people want to see what is happening here in Guyana. How have we gone from just a few years ago to being a basket case, to being one of the poorest countries in this part of the world, in this hemisphere, to being the fastest developing country in the entire world? How have we gone from that? By some whims and fantasy? By some stroke of magic? No, it was by hard work from our leaders in the People's Progressive Party Civic to fix back this country. And not only fix it back, but to build it back better than it was before. And like I said, you got two Kangalangs. Azruddin Mohammed. The United States has already said that Azruddin Mohammed, they had sufficient evidence that Azruddin Mohammed has been engaged in criminal activities, and for that is why they sanction him. The United States don't just go out and sanction people just like that. And Azruddin is facing the highest form of sanction in the United States. A list that there's probably not even 2,000 people on that list. But Azruddin Mohammed and his father in the world full of billions of people, 1 billion people, sorry. And out of that, on that sanction list in the United States, you got about maybe 2,000 persons. And Azruddin Mohammed and his father forms part of that list. and he is trying to run to become president of this country. And like I said before, we had to pause for that break. Ladies and gentlemen, it's easier. I am saying that right now. I'm looking you in the eyes and say that to you. It's easier for an elephant to climb through the eyes of a needle than for Azruddin Mohammed to become president of this great land, our great country, Guyana. So let me make sure that y'all understand that and understand that clearly. All right? So the two Kangalangs we're talking about is Azruddin Mohammed and, of course, Aubrey Norton. A man that has been, his entire outlook, his entire public life has been one that is based on racism, based on hate, based on bigotry, based on division. That is what Aubrey Norton has always stood for. You tell me one time that you heard Aubrey Norton talking about anything, how we could unite our people and have our people working together. You tell me one time that you heard Aubrey Norton talking about peace and love and us celebrating together. It's always about divisiveness, destruction, black empowerment only. While Irfan Ali and the People's Progressive Party is about Guyanese empowerment, and Irfan Ali has taken it even further by empowering the people, our CARICOM brothers and sisters, in working hard every single day to make this, make the Caribbean region food secure. And in many other aspects, Irfan Ali has been working and working and working to make the lives of the Caribbean people better as he lifts Guyana to every single day also. And you got Aubrey Norton and Azruddin Mohammed. Aubrey Norton, like I said, a condemned racist. Azruddin Mohammed, a sanctioned criminal. Those are your choices. Irfan Ali, an astute, respectable statesman in the world. Azruddin Mohammed, a US sanctioned criminal that cannot hop on a plane here and travel anywhere without the fear of being arrested and taken to the United States to face charges of money laundering, tax evasion, gold smuggling, murder, Venezuelan fuel smuggling. And you were told many times of Azruddin Mohammed's connection to the Venezuelans. That's why I tell y'all, ladies and gentlemen, these are serious times. These are not times to be playing with the future of this country. This is not time to be playing with the future of your children. We would never, ever surrender Guyana to the hands of a criminal or to the hands of a racist. It would never happen. This is a country of 6 races, and I would put 7 because we have a lot of mixed Guyanese here. All right, we would never ever surrender this country to the hands of into the hands of the scripthead. Azruddin Mohammed refused to tell us who his presidential candidate will be. And we were told that should Azruddin Mohammed win the presidency, Nicolas Maduro of Venezuela will be appointing the prime minister. I mean, it's impossible. Like I said before, it could never happen. They could never win. But those are the dangers that you face. Aubrey Norton, every single day from the time he became leader of his party, all he preached was division, 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 racism, racism, racism. And he wants to be president to lead you? Well, let me say something to you all, especially those of you who, let me say something to those of you who love this country and who believe in the rule of law. Let me say something to those of you who strive to do good every single day in this country. A vote for Aubrey Norton is a vote to divide our people based on race. It's a vote to put Afro-Guyanese who are close to the PNC above every other person. Because you know it, you've experienced it before. You were right there experiencing it. When APNU took power in 2015, you know how you felt. Every single one of you who love this country and who believe in our country and who believe that we are one people first, one nation and one destiny. Every single one of you know exactly how you felt when they start to squeeze and to tighten the grips on our country and start to squeeze and innocent people and start intimidating our people in our backlands and our farms and our countryside. You guys know how you felt. You guys know what they did in 2020 in 2018 when the no confidence motion was passed. And then after they were booted out of power, you guys knew exactly what they did and how it made you feel. I remember when my activism cells were activated is when I was listening to, I told you all this story many times. When I was listening to a program by Yog Mahadio and Lennox Gildari, and one auntie called from Region 5, and she was crying, and she broke down and she was crying, and she was talking about how scared she was in her own home. That was a very short time ago, ladies and gentlemen. That was just in 2020, a meager 5 years ago. How many of you felt scared? How many of you was worried about your future, about the future of your children? How many of you felt trapped in your homes and scared to go out on the road because you scared that you were afraid that you would have been attacked by the hooligans who were attached to the APNU at that time? Well, majority of those hooligans and thugs have now gone into the Wind Camp. They now form part of Azruddin Mohammed's team. Those who are the same thugs and hooligans who we now refer to as scrapeheads, who went on the street after the issue with Adriana Young and tried to stir up race hate again. Remember when you go to the polling place about the man, the Indo-Guyanese, who was just driving his truck and bringing his rice to Georgetown to take it for export, and was pulled out of his truck and was badly beaten. For one simple reason, he was badly beaten, because he was Indo-Guyanese and perceived PPP supporter. Had nothing to do with what was going on the west coast of the east bank of Essequibo, actually. Where it was again. Had nothing to do with that. All right? And he was dragged out of his truck and beaten. We got to remember these things. Remember the vendors at Monrepo who had nothing to do with what was going on in Golden Grove. But Travis Chase and Sherrod Duncan, who's now a candidate of APNU, going into Golden Grove and stirring up people in Golden Grove and the criminal elements and others in Golden Grove. Hop on bicycles and get on the road and head down to the Monrepo market and started to rob our Indo brothers and sisters at the Monrepo market. Remember those things when you go to the polling station, ladies and gentlemen. All those things are on the line. And you've got to admit that there's only one political party that has stood up against this and has stood with you time and time again. It is the People's Progressive Party Civic who has stood with you. And let me tell you all a little story as I'm talking about what transpired at Monrepo those few years ago. Let me tell you a little story. When our brothers and sisters in Monrepo were picking up arms and going back, and APNU thought that they were getting what they wanted because they want to rile up our people. They want to put black against Indian and our Amerindian brothers and sisters against this person. They want to divide this country. They feel that somehow, if they can divide our people, that will be a way that they can win. That will be a way that they can take control. What they try to do every single time is, once the PPP is in power, create confusion and create havoc so that they could come into your community and say that they're the only ones who can protect you. Protect what? Protect who? When? The only political party that can actually protect you, ladies and gentlemen, is the People's Progressive Party. Tested and proven. You know that too. Tested and proven. So let us not get confused at this point. We've got to keep our country heading in the direction that it's heading. We are heading upwards and at a fast rate than any other country in the world right now. Challenge me on that, ladies and gentlemen. Any opposition person that is watching this program right now, challenge me on that. I like to issue challenges to our opposition brothers and sisters. Show me another country that is developing faster than this Guyana. This country, from the time Air Finale took the helm of leadership in this country, you have seen a transformation that you've never seen nowhere else in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, I live in the greatest country in the world, the United States. And while I am sincerely grateful for the opportunity to live the American dream, and like I say, I live the very best of the American dream. I am extremely proud every single where I go, every single day, to say to people in the United States that I am a proud Guyanese, and proud to tell them, those who don't know, where Guyana is and what is happening in Guyana. Proud of my country. And the only reason I can do that is because of Air Finale and what he has done for our country. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so we cannot turn back. We cannot let anything distract us. And like I was telling y'all, they already know, Azruddin Mohammed knows very well at the back of his head that an elephant can climb through the eyes of a needle before he can become president. What's his name? Nigel Hughes already made it clear that the PPP is winning this election, but he's working hard to make it a minority government. And the other Kangalang, the other racist, Aubrey Norton, knows very well also at the back of his head that he can never become president. He can never become president. So they are now threatening our people. They are now threatening that what could happen if they do not win, and if the PPP does not have to rig any election. The only political party with a history of rigging elections is the PNC. And then they were assisted by their partners in the Partnership for National Unity and the Alliance for Change. That's the only party in the history of this country that has a history of rigging elections. But like I told you all, I have the video where the vice president warned them, let them know that this time in a long time, you ain't gonna go up on Regent Street and damage people's businesses and rob and loot people anymore. Those days are over, ladies and gentlemen. So I have this video that I want to share with y'all. I'm pretty sure you probably saw it there. You want me to play it here? Okay.
Again, when defeat is staring the APNU and win in the face, these two Kangalangs that they have, Norton and Azruddin Mohammed, have changed their language now. Norton said, if I don't win, and if the elections are rigged, there'll be trouble in Guyana. And Azruddin Mohammed, in his delusional, mentally ill state, says, I did a poll, and my poll showed that I'm winning the presidency. I've already won in region 1, 7, 8, and 9. We're gonna beat them in all those regions. And the PPP is planning to rig in 6, in 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And there'll be trouble in Guyana. Not accepted because we did the numbers and we know that they're leading in the polls. And then his spokesperson, Doggy, said that they're going to release all the prisoners.
I hope his future president, Mr. Azruddin Mohammed, is paying close attention. When you're going to power, we're going to bring out all the jailmen except the rapers. Okay? The jailmen, them. We did not forget you guys. We did not forget you guys, okay? All the men who's incarcerated, except for the rape ones, y'all coming home. September 1st. Y'all coming home. Y'all coming home.
Now, he has adopted the language of the PNC, the old language of the PNC, APNU. But if we dealt with Granger and his cabal, we can deal with these two Kangalangs any day. Any day.
Well, you heard it there from the General Secretary of the People's Progressive Party. and of course the current Vice President Bart Jagdeo. And I hope that he is going to see it fit to return to serve our country, because listen, the service that Bart Jagdeo has given to this country and the leadership that he has given, it has given the two Kangalangs nightmares. A lot of people in the APNU, PNC, every single day they seek to destroy the character of Bart Jagdeo. Every single day they seek to bring up some new scandal about him. They know that if you they always have to have a scapegoat. You understand me? Now their talk is Irfanali is a good man. Well, some of them. Irfanali is a good man, but the man Jagdeo. Back in the days, it used to be Chetty Jagan is a good man, but that lady Janet Jagan. Always seeking to have a scapegoat. All right? So let me just make sure y'all understand this. And I want to assure every single person, peace-loving Guyanese, regardless of your ethnicity, that you have nothing to worry about. All you have to do is get up and go vote. Go vote. Don't worry about anything. Those criminals in Azruddin Mohammed party, those criminals and disruptors and bullies in APNU, they can't do what they are accustomed to do at elections time. It is not going to happen. They had their test run during the Adriana Young situation, and a lot of them are still in jail. And trust me, Simona Brooms and Nigel Hughes and Dexter Todd show up for 2 days and they run out of steam and they left them languishing there in the prison, where they belong, of course. So, to those of you WIN supporters, APNU supporters, who gonna take set up by sanctioned billionaire Azruddin Mohammed and Aubrey Norton, who get the bag every month of hefty salary from the government of Guyana, y'all could put your family, put your freedom at risk, put your family's security at risk, and everything else. You put your family's happiness at risk and go out on the street and try to create havoc during the election season and see what's going to happen with y'all. Azruddin will return to his mansion. What's his name? Aubrey Norton will return to his nice lifestyle that he's afforded because of this PPP government. And you and your family will be the ones suffering. So y'all could take set up from Azruddin Mohammed and Aubrey Norton, and y'all could go on the streets and do stupidness. Now, I don't know how long Azruddin will be returning to his mansion, because like I said, ladies and gentlemen, I live in the United States and I have great confidence in the justice system in the United States, and that justice will prevail as it relates to every single one of them who robbed this country, who took advantage of people. You understand me? And Azruddin Mohammed, as sure as night follows day, or day follows night, or whatever one you want to say, you will face your justice. You will face your justice. So, I want to just say to y'all, this is not a circus thing. Brian Max took lead up from Azruddin Mohammed and Doggy. He took lead up. He became a big bad Wolverine, according to him. Like I said before, this man, while he was crazy, he had his little mental situation or whatever. This man has never been more bold and pompous until he joined the WIN team. Y'all notice after he joined the WIN team, he peeped on the man fence. He went into the Ministry of Education with machete. The other day, he's in a boat cussing up and disrespecting some women in the boat and stuff like that. Having absolutely no respect for the persons there who probably have nothing to do with politics. As soon as he's entered the T. Mohammed into the hands of this, into the belly of the script heads, he's suddenly a big bad Wolverine and feel that he can march up into the man's business and disrespect the man's wife and disrespect the man's family and disrespect me, who was the man's guest in his own home, and he feel that he can just walk in here and do whatever he wants to do. Ladies and gentlemen, the laws has got to change when it comes to defending your castle. A man is a king in his castle, ladies and gentlemen. A man is a king in his castle, and no time at all, nobody should be able to walk off the road and come into your castle and disrespect you, and then you end up in front of the court system. The Guyanese critic was a victim on that day, because he have a right to defend his guests and to defend his home and to defend his place of business. But the laws has got to change. You know, too long we've been doing policing in this country based on emotions and based on sensationalism. We've got to stop doing policing like that. I told the police only the other day, listen, you don't have to get personal. If a man broke the law, all you have to do is do your duty. You have to get angry and upset and start shouting and cussing and going on. It's not your law he broke. He broke the laws of Guyana. So we've got to professionalize the Guyana police force also. And the law has got to change. Ladies and gentlemen, certain parts in the United States, if you enter a man's home, you understand me, you could be killed. It's called the Castle Doctrine. Google it. It's AI would be able to tell you what it is. Understand your ground laws. But in this country, because of what the public say or how the public feel, that's how we do policing for the most part. That has got to change. Some people are defending Brian Max by saying, oh, he was invited. How was he invited? Is that the way you give an invitation? Now, if I tell, if I'm here, right, and you call me up and say, oh, you're coming for collect this and you're going to do this and you're going to do that, I say, you come. Since you're a bad man, you come. We all do that as Guyanese. And then you come and show up. I say, well, okay, you're a big bad man. You come inside my house. Come in my yard if you're so bad. And you come in, and then there's people who are so dumb because of their political beliefs that is advancing this argument that the man was invited. There must be mutual and genuine consent on both parties for it to be an official invitation, for it to be an invitation. Those men were not on speaking terms. They were not friends. But he wants to prove that he's a big bad Wolverine, according like he said. And he got what he deserved. And the Guyanese critic should have never been before the court. The man's wife was in this place here. The man's family was in his home. And you march into the man's home and tell yourself that because you supported a big bad party, a party of scriptheads, that you could do whatever you want. Well, Doggy set you up because that's why he didn't come. He claimed not to hear that he too was invited, the same type of invitation. He claimed not to hear that. He heard everything else, except when the Guyanese critics say, you come and collect the money. Bring Doggy too when you come in. Y'all remember that? But Doggy didn't hear the part. He phone went blank at that part. Guys, let's see here. I wrap up at the 1:30. So I have some time. I could take your phone calls also. And you are welcome to call if you want to call. I'm going to try to run through some of these messages. Right? I'm going to try. Someone is saying he was wrong to disrespect critic and me. Well, listen, I'm in politics a long time ago. And like I told y'all, I've been disrespected. I've been assaulted. There are times when I feel as though I was taken advantage of. And my principles didn't shift. I stand firm for what I believe in. I believe in the policies and the doctrine of the PPP, and I will speak it and I will defend it every single day anywhere I go. Nothing could change that. So what Brian Max did the other day, I'm used to those things. I'm accustomed to those things. I wasn't always like this, but I developed the alligator skin for those things. There's nothing that they can say to me that can affect me. And I ain't no big bad man, so y'all don't let it come out as though I'm trying to say anything like that. We've got to draw a line, ladies and gentlemen. We've got to draw a line. The dog, right? He's very smart. Okay, he sent Brian Max and he stayed back and then pretend not to hear that he was invited. See, I get a caller coming through. Let me see this call. Hello?
Yes, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
How are you doing, sir?
I am doing good. I'm doing excellent.
Okay, good. Yes, one thing I gotta highlight. We gotta try and save the Guyanese people. Let me tell you why. Do you know these people would rely on anything? These PNC people. I don't call them win people. I call them PNC.
Right.
Because it's the same thing. These the win move across the PNC.
Same old PNC.
The PNC move across the win. Yes, same old PNC. Yes, no worry, man. Yes. So these people, you gotta be careful with them. We gotta try to save all Guyanese people. If you whatever we can save, we gotta try to save.
I agree.
You understand?
Yeah.
Because it's genuine. Some of our guys me work, they see. We fully believe that we line upon the Azri. That the government line upon Azri.
I'll address that.
People genuinely believe them thing now.
I'll address
people
that.
genuinely believe them thing now, you know?
Yes.
So just try and try to convince the people and show them evidence because they not believe.
All right.
You know?
All right.
And it's heartbreaking to know that we get some good Guyanese people, good black people who are genuinely being fooled by these people.
I believe you. I stand by those comments.
People.
Yes. All right. So thank you very much to that caller. So listen, he's right. He's right. You have people who genuinely believe the lies that the PNC has been telling them for years. You have Guyanese who believe that there is a torture chamber at Freedom House that is there, set up for when black people go there to torture them. Since the 60s, they've been saying that. Since the formation of the PPP, they've been saying that. Not one single Afro-Guyanese can say they ever went to Freedom House and was disrespected and was taken advantage of and was abused because of their race since the formation of the PPP to today's date, August 26, 2025, to this day. There isn't one Afro-Guyanese in this entire world that could go and say that they were taken advantage of or anything like that. They were abused because of their race by the leaders of the PPP or by Freedom House. But yet you still got some Afro-Guyanese believing it. There isn't one single Guyanese that can say that they saw the statement of polls that reflect a win for the PNC. Not even the leaders of the PNC can bring forward one iota of evidence that they won the 2020 general election, but they continue to preach it nevertheless. And there are some Guyanese who believe that up to this day. The United States, the ABC countries, all the reputable organization, world organization, United Nations, the OAS, the Commonwealth, and so many, CARICOM, so many other reputable world organizations all agreed that the PPP won the elections fair and square and Air Finale was victorious in the 2020 election. And just because Aubrey Norton and the clan of them who continue to lie to them, tell them that they won the elections, they believed Aubrey Norton instead of in the face of glaring evidence. And we've seen this time and time again. And they're going to do this again here in this election, ladies and gentlemen. They're coming up with their tricks. I call it the tricks to try to fool you, the Guyanese people. Yes. They're coming up with it. So I want to say to every single person that is here, that is listening to me, especially those who are supporting Win Now, who move from PNC to Win. Y'all think for one time, no man. Use your brain, no man. Think, no man. Just Just think for one time in your lifetime. Don't fall for the sensationalism. Don't fall for the spins and the lies. Use your brain and think for yourself. Look outside your window. Ask yourself, am I doing better today? Those of you who like work, who do working and stuff like that. Because the vast majority of those who have left APNU and gravitating to win are unemployed young black people. I said it here because I ain't got to spin no story. The vast majority of them that left APNU, those provocateurs and thugs and hooligans, the vast majority of them who've gravitated to Mohammed's party is because he could give them a little 50,000 for vote, a little freck here and there. You are selling your dignity. You are selling your future. You are selling your ancestral morals for $50,000. Willing to sell out our country, throw away our patrimony and every single thing else to this sanctioned criminal Azruddin Mohammed. For $50,000 Guyana, you're willing to put the future of this entire country at risk? And you want us to refer to you as something of value? You belong to the basket of deplorables, ladies and gentlemen. If you are willing to sell your entire future for $50,000 Guyana, you belong to the basket of deplorables. I'm not here to insult or to disrespect anybody, ladies and gentlemen, but we've got to call it as it is. That is the problem with some of us in this country. We want to bury our head in the sand and pretend that those things are not happening around us. So to those of you who are defending Brian Max walking into the man's house, the next time a person walk into your house, if you're being sarcastic, they're threatening you with all kind of things that they're going to come into your house and do you all kind of things. And the next time that you say, yeah, well, you come then, you come. Since you're big and bad, you come. And the man walk into your house, you don't have to defend your house because you could consider that an invitation. You could consider that an invitation. We've got to draw the line, ladies and gentlemen. We've got to draw the line. We've got to draw the line. Your choices are clear. While it might be two Kangalangs versus Air Finale, the choice in this election is as clear. The choice in this election is as clear as day. You have good versus evil, plain and simple. On the evil side, it's divided into two subsections. You got racism and criminality on the evil side. And on the good side, you've got integrity, decency, discipline. You've got every single thing that's good. You've got on the good side, you've got a track record of development. You've got 5 years to look back on. In 5 years, how did you fare in this country after Air Finale became president? How did this country look after Air Finale became president? Are we driving on better roads? Are we going to better schools? Are we cost of living is high, ladies and gentlemen. Everywhere in the world. I live in the United States, cost of living is high. Joe Biden, when he was president, spoke about the plight of the poor because of cost of living. Donald Trump is speaking about the plight of the poor man because of cost of living. Justin Trudeau, when he was Prime Minister of Canada, constantly speak about the plight of the Canadians because of cost of living. The current Prime Minister, Mark Carney, continues to talk about cost of living in Canada. The UK, you had Rishi Sunak, who was the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, constantly spoke about cost of living. It formed the most important issue in the election in the last election in the United Kingdom, which saw Keir Starmer elected Prime Minister in the United Kingdom. The number one issue in that election was cost of living. The number one issue in the recently concluded election in Canada was cost of living and of course trade between the United States and Canada. Then one of the top issues, while it might not have been the number one issue in the United States, one of the top concerns for the people in the United States in the last election that saw Donald Trump became our president was cost of living. So cost of living is high all around. But what is your government in Guyana doing to mitigate against cost of living? So many things they put in place. Ladies and gentlemen, I was just telling a guy just a few hours ago. The price that you pay at the pump for gas in Guyana is the price that it costs to bring the gas to the pump. Nothing else. The government collects zero taxes on that. That's more money in your pocket. That is the government trying to mitigate against cost of living. The cash grant that they give you, that is to help you because of the cost of living crisis that we are faced with throughout the world. Yes, some of you scrapeheads took it and buy cell phone and tickets to go to shows and wig and nails and do hair and stuff like that. That's your business. It was your money. But some of them take it and they use it to help their family. Maybe buy a few more blocks. Maybe fix a window. Maybe fix something on the house. Maybe buy something new for the house. You see, it's the way you think is going to determine how you see life. The way you think is going to determine how you live your life. It all starts with here, ladies and gentlemen. This is where it starts. So to those of you who have sold out because of for a little $50,000, that $50,000 is gonna go. But God, thank you God, that Guyana have way more intelligent people than dumb ones, than foolish ones. The foolish ones are it's a little handful of them. That's why you see wind don't get the torn out like they expected. They don't get it torn out like they expected. And majority of those people who are going there, I am told, go there for collect their little money and their little freebies and stuff like that. And they know very well that they're not voting for no win. What sort of country, what sort of person are you? Let me see this. I got a caller. Let me see. Good afternoon.
Okay.
Yes. We have you live on air. Are you calling to be live on air?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's all I want. Someone will bring you back in pieces. You love me.
You love critics?
Some people will break you in pieces. You're lucky.
You're lucky. All right.
You're very lucky.
All right, brother.
And you keep it up.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. This caller is from the United States. And certain countries in the United States, if Brian Max had tried what he tried by coming into a man's castle, coming into a man's home, and disrespecting the man, his wife, his family, and his guests, he would have been a dead man, and the police would have only come to ensure that he was not lured into the building. And once the police figure out that he was not lured into the building, the coroners were going to come, collect the body, and that would have been the end of the story. That would have been the end of the story. Certain states like Florida and Wyoming and Pennsylvania, Delaware, West Virginia, I can't call all of those states, but certain states, you have the right to protect, to use even lethal force to protect your home, your assets, your family from intruders. And clearly the man, Brian Max, was aggressive in his nature. He was not a friend to the Guyanese critic, so he had no business in the man's property, period. And every single person who's trying to defend that by calling that an invitation, you're dumb. Because that's not what an invitation is. And you know fully well that that was not an invitation. I was invited here, not him. All right? There was pure sarcasm in what the Guyanese critic said to him. And like I said before, he said, bring Doggy too. But Doggy wouldn't hear that part. But he takes set up and go and enter the man's place, and he get what he deserved. But the laws got to change in this country, because I maintain even though he might differ to how I see it, I'm talking about the Guyanese critic, I maintain that he was the victim on that day. Not because of who get more blood or who lost the fight or anything like that. You determine who's victim and who is the felon and who's the victim. Who's the aggressor and who's the victim based on that. The law is clear, or the law should be clear. You have a right to defend your castle. You have a right to defend your family. He was illegal. He was an intruder in the man's place. That is not how you invite the person to your place. I open the door, you playing a big bad man, well then come in. You come in and pick up the money since you're so bad. You and the man is enemy. Let's say that it was all genuine with the invitation. You're man's enemy. What possessed you to enter into the man's place then? What possessed you to enter into the man's place? Your enemy? And then you complain, you're talking about the studio dark. Anyway. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen. Let me read some of your comments and then we've got to wrap up. But tomorrow at 12 noon, I'm back here again. We're here every single day. Because I'm going to sit here and we're going to speak the truth together. I'm going to entertain your calls. We're going to do this together. We're going to ensure that our brothers and sisters in every single community in Guyana understand that you are free to exercise your right as a Guyanese. Once your name is on the list, you are free to exercise your right, and nobody is going to intimidate you. Nobody's going to make you feel scared. Nobody's going to make you feel threatened. And the PNC days of bullyism, the PNC days of taking advantage of Indo-Guyanese, the PNC days of targeting Indo-Guyanese businesses, targeting Indo-Guyanese families for violence, and including our Amerindian brothers and sisters, are over. I'm going to sit here every day and remind you that in Guyana we are one people, and that is how it shall be until, if some of y'all believe this war will end, until the end of this war. We've got to stand. We cannot leave everything on the leaders of the PNC. We've got to stand up as a people for what is right. That is why even if some of y'all who are so biased, you don't like the Guyanese critic, it might happen to you one day. Someone might march into your home and try to bully you. Rain don't fall on one person's house top. Someone might march into your home one day. You may not like the Guyanese critic for whatever reason, but at least you should stand with him on this issue, because regardless of what, Brian Max had absolutely no right to be in his home. And we cannot even call a spade in this instance, some of us. But like I said, it's a very small few. It's a very small few. It's not a lot of them. Good will always triumph over evil, ladies and gentlemen. Regardless of how much evil they bring, regardless of how much criminality that Win bring to the campaign, regardless of how much threats that the two Kangalangs threaten the people of Guyana with violence if they don't win the elections, ladies and gentlemen, one damn thing nothing is gonna happen. Not one damn thing. This country will go back to normal in a few days after the elections, and I am confident that Irfan Ali will be victorious, the People Civic will be victorious, and Irfan Ali will be the next president for the next 5 years with Mark Phillips as prime minister. I'm confident in that. But we cannot become complacent. This is my last thing I'm leaving with you guys. We cannot become complacent. We've got to guard our place in history. We've got to guard this nation. And every single one of you, your duty to guard this nation and to protect this nation and to keep this nation on the upward trajectory that is on is by going out on Monday and marking your X next to the cup. Make sure your X in turn touch the lines. Nice. At the top one time for the general, at the bottom one time for the regional. Mark your X next to the cup, and that is you doing your duty to protect this land. It might sound simple, ladies and gentlemen. It might sound simple, but it's not. It is a simple task, but it has a hell of a responsibility behind it. So if you stay away and you don't go out there and mark that X, and the elephant is able to climb through the eyes of the needle, every single one of you, every single one of us will regret that on September 2nd. So we cannot become complacent. We've got to go out there and do our civic duty. Thank you very much to every single one of you who have shared the video. Thank you very much to, I can't even start calling names. Tomorrow, I promise you, I'll call a few names, but every single one of you know who you are. I certainly appreciate every single comment that I got today. Every single one of you who shared our video. I certainly appreciate it. And I vow to you, I make a promise here to you today to always level with you and always tell you the truth. That is my mission here, to tell you the truth. I want to say thank you to our technical team, to our folks here at TBN, to our folks at Sky TV, and thank you to everybody. Tomorrow at 12 o'clock, we're here again. My name is Ossie Rodgers. One love, my people. And remember, we are one people, one nation with a common destiny. Y'all take care until tomorrow. Goodbye. Thousands of you are living in the United States and other parts of the world because of the mismanagement of the economy by the PNC, because of the bullyism, because of the intimidation.
At this point, we're not afraid. We feel righteous. We are righteous people. We have a righteous cause. And we are also not alone. We are not alone.
Any president has a right to enforce the laws of the country, uphold the rule of law. But I have to constantly remind you, the Guyanese people, because if nobody else can do it, you're going to hear it right here on the Diaspora Connected.